raised his own to become the next leader of the Charleston County Register of Deeds office. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Republican candidate Tom Hartnett Jr. one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Tom Hartnett Jr., it's so good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Quintin.
I appreciate this. Well, let me take you back down memory lane. You posted the following on your Facebook page on May 21st. It reads this, quote, "Our campaign is proud to announce that we have been endorsed by former Charleston County ROD, Charlie Lybrand. Charlie served as the head of the office, formerly RMC, from 1994 to 2017. Thank you, Charlie, for the endorsement. We are on to victory into the Republican primary, that is, June 12th. And he says this, quote, "I am proud to endorse Tom Hartnett Jr. for Charleston County Register of Deeds. As the former Register of Deeds, formerly RMC, I know that Tom plans to build on the improvements that have been made and to continue the great service that our office is known for. Good luck, Tom. You have my vote and my family's vote. Charlie Lybrand."
That was something that I was very happy. I was honored that Mr. Lybrand gave me his endorsement. Just to know that the man that ran this office for the last 20 years has put faith in me to continue to build on what he has done with the office. It's just been an amazing thing. It's been a humbling experience to find people like that are willing to support me and put their trust in me.
And as we sit here right now, it's 7 days and a couple of minutes and hours before the June 12th Republican primary.
Yes, sir.
Describe Tom Hartnett Jr., the candidate for Register of Deeds.
Tom Hartnett, the candidate. I am a candidate, but first and foremost, I am a father.
Right.
So I'm having to spend a lot of time on the trail, but I'm also trying to make sure that I still spend the quality time with my family. I have been, I don't want to say that I felt like I've been spread thin, but between campaigning, work, and family, it's almost like there's just not enough time in the day. And with the election right around the corner, right. Everything seems to be picking up speed, picking up pace, and it's getting interesting. It's getting very interesting.
You talk about obviously interested in the campaign. I spoke with your rival, Dan Gregory, a week ago.
Yes, sir.
And we talked about a couple of issues, from electronic recording of documents to legislation affecting the Register of Deeds office, the sovereign citizens, Charleston County Forfeit Land Commission, to set up an informal committee of users for the RRD office, office equipment, potential conflict of interest in the RRD office, cost of services. When you hear all of this, what sticks out in your mind?
I can't say that any one thing sticks out in my mind in particular. I know the question of electronic recording of deeds has come up several times.
Sure.
That is something that I would like to look into for the county. In speaking with many of the real estate attorneys and other users of the ROD office, they like the idea of electronic recording, but they don't feel like Charleston County is ready for the electronic recording now. My concern with electronic recording is that takes the people out of it. One of the things that Mr. Gregory, I know, was concerned with the sovereign citizen and how they keep an eye out for the sovereign citizen and their filings, etc. If you take the people out, the computer doesn't look for those things. I think at some point, yes, Charleston County will be ready for it. We need to look at taking steps to make changes to the computer system to prepare Charleston County for electronic recording in the future. But my concern is, how would that affect the office and how would that affect the people in the office? So I wouldn't want to do anything that would cause us to not give as good of a service as the office gives right now. And I'm concerned that by taking out the personal aspect and going totally electronically, that could weaken the strength of the office.
And, you know, obviously, we also talked about him, if he were to be elected, whoever is elected ROD, the change in location for the ROD office.
The ROD office is a recording office. It is a record-keeping office, and it deals directly with the court systems. I have had people say that no, it would not affect them as much if the office was moved. I've had others say that it would be, I wish I could remember the exact quote, but said in a nutshell that it would be one of the worst possible things that could happen. Right now, with the availability of records, many of the abstractors and the title companies want to do a 40-year search or a 60-year search. Well, there's not 40 years worth of documents available on the ROD website right now. So the abstractors they have to go to the office. You physically have to go there to pull the documents. Mm-hmm. What I would like to do, one of the things that I would like to look into is trying to record the documents past the mid and early 1990s. I would like to get at least 40 years worth of documents recorded and try and add years on. Start from, just add 1 year at a time as quickly as we can. Of course, you know, we've got to look at to make sure we have the equipment to do it. We have to make sure that we have the staff to do it. I know that there are several volunteers down there that were employees of the county, and they volunteer their time. They're not paid. They come down and they scan these documents in, and they're working down there now doing this. But I think once the county gets to the point where we have the 40 years worth of documents or the 60 years worth of documents online, then there might not be as much pushback from others with moving the office. Okay. The necessity of going down there will not be will not be as necessary to go down there as it is now.
And I know that he came up with an idea of setting up an informal committee of users for the RD office. Mm-hmm. I know that you know a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
If you were elected, what type of people will be on your committee?
I have spoken with several real estate attorneys. I have spoken with realtors. I have spoken with surveyors. I have spoken with abstractors. These are the regular users of the office. I have gotten input from many of them, and many of them have said that they would be willing to work with me. Hopefully, if I do win the seat or get the nomination. I would love to have the input from the outside users as they can see where the strengths and the weaknesses of the office are, and where the office needs to make changes.
What are those weaknesses and strengths right now in your mind?
In my mind right now is that there's a lot of problems with the interconnectivity of the system. If you are looking for documents on the ROD website, a lot of times you'll wind up going to the tax system, the assessor's office to look up the tax records. Well, in these records, it gives you a deed reference or a plat reference. Well, you've got to write that deed reference or plat reference down on a notebook. You got to back out of the assessor system, the tax system. Then you go into the ROD office. Then you have to input those plat or deed references to do your own search. One of the things that I would like to do is try, and of course I'd have to work with the IT department. It's not a whim of mine. It would be something that we would have to look into with the county. But I'd like for it to where it would be almost like a hyperlink, where when you see the reference, if you click on that reference, it will take you to that deed or take you to that plat. To some people, it seems like, well, that's not necessary. That's just one more step. That just takes a few seconds, a couple of minutes. Well, if you're doing these deed searches for a living like the abstractors do, or if you're working as a surveyor and you're trying to look back and find the older plat references when you're making a new plat of a property, if you're doing 10, 15 of these a day, yes, the time does add up. And it would save time. It would save time, and time saves money.
And what are the costs of services right now in the RD office in your mind?
There's been talk in the legislation of making a flat fee for recording fees. Right now, I believe it's $10 for, I don't have the sheet in front of me, but I want to say it's $10 for the first page and $1 per page after that for the recording fees. Legislation has suggested that they make a flat $15 recording fee statewide for all ROD offices. Now, in most cases, that the recording fee would be higher. They may be paying a little more with the $15 recording fee than they would if they only had a 4-page or 5-page or 6-page document. It may be $2 or $3 more. So the ROD offices would bring in a little bit more money for the recording on that side. But then again, there are master deeds, which can be 60, 70, 80, even 100 plus pages. They would lose, I don't want to say they would lose money on the larger recordings, but the bulk of the documents that are recorded are short documents. So that would add a little extra money into the treasury or into the bank for the ROD office. The extra funds going to the office and to the county could allow for additional scanners. It could allow for the hiring of additional people. It could allow for paid internships. That money, it would be, I don't want to say surplus, but there would be more money available to the ROD to put toward increasing or bettering the services that are offered.
And let me reset and talk about you again.
Okay.
Obviously, you are the president of Hartnett, a realty company.
Yes, sir.
And of course, you have a growing family.
Yes, sir.
And you're a husband. Beyond that, who else is Tom Hartnett Jr.?
Tom Hartnett Jr. is, as I said earlier, I'm a father.
Right.
I'm a husband. I'm a friend. I enjoy outdoors. I kind of get a little bit of cabin fever if I'm stuck inside too long. I love hunting, I love fishing, I love woodworking, I love building things. So whenever I have my free time, which there's very little of, typically my free time involves family. It's either spending time with the boys in the outdoors, or it's doing projects around the house, building fences, building decks. There's never I don't sit still. There's never a real moment of rest around my house. It's always, if I sit too long, my wife always asks, don't you have something else that you do?
That's so good to hear.
Yes, sir.
Well, Tom Hartnett Jr., thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Quintin, thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed by you again. It's a pleasure to see you.
Likewise.
Thank you, Quintin.
Thank you.